Prince William was polite and engaging and had a lovely chat with a London cab driver as he sold the big issue in Westminster yesterday. The Duke of Cambridge, 39, swapped his usual suit and tie for a red vest and cap as he went undercover as a big issue seller on the streets of London. William, who has followed in his late mother Princess Diana's footsteps in supporting a number of homelessness charities, happily posed for photographs with members of the public. Among those grabbing a selfie was cabbie Neil Kramer, from East London, who was charging up his electric vehicle when he was approached by the future king. Speaking to FEMAIL, Neil said he pinched himself after speaking to the Duke, who never forgot his name. I was charging up my taxi on Rochester Row in Westminster when I was approached by a vendor who introduced himself as William and asked would first like to buy a copy of the big issue, he told FEMAIL. When I realized who it was, I was a bit shocked but of course said yes. He then introduced the other gentleman with him and we had a lovely chat for 15 minutes about the charity and its work. I was asked if I was a regular reader and pointed out there is always an opportunity to buy the magazine when on a rank or charging up. All of a sudden I was made aware of a group of people who had also noticed who I was talking to. He was engaging, polite and never forgot my name. As they both left, I wished them luck and then pinched myself. What a lovely surprise on a random Wednesday and after the Jubilee celebrations over the weekend. Another man who met William said he had no change, so the Duke whipped out a card machine so he could make a purchase. The royal, who spent the weekend celebrating his grandmother the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, was praised for the silent gesture of charity by one man who stopped to chat, while others hailed the humble royal for leading by example. Kensington Palace declined to comment on Prince William's big issue volunteering. Retired Met Police Chief Superintendent Matthew Gardner was one of the first to share images of William selling the big issue on his LinkedIn account, and others quickly followed suit, posting pictures with the future king to Instagram. Mr. Gardner said in a post made yesterday, "My brother-in-law was in London today and saw a celebrity, so he took a photo at a distance. The celebrity saw the covert surveillance effort and crossed the road to investigate further. What an honor to have a private moment with our future king who was humble and working quietly in the background, helping the most needy. These silent gestures often go unrecognized," he added. He continued, "The finale to this unique occasion was when Prince William asked my brother-in-law if he wanted to buy the big issue, to which he replied, 'I have no change.'" At this point William produced a mobile card machine. You cannot teach that. Priceless, or should I say princely. The Big Issue is a magazine designed to give a helping hand to homeless people. William is an avid supporter of schemes and organizations that support the homeless, as was his late mother. The Duke is patron of Centrepoint Homeless Charity and in 2020 revealed that he talks to his older children Prince George, now 8, and Princess Charlotte, now 7, about the issue of homelessness. Speaking to Mary Berry for her Christmas special A Berry Royal Christmas, he said, "On the school run already, bear in mind they're 6 and 4. Whenever we see anyone who is sleeping rough on the streets, I talk about it and I point it out and I explain why and they're all very interested." They're like, why can't they go home? In 2019, the Duke became the patron of The Passage, an organization established in 1980 which has gone on to help more than 135,000 people in crisis through its resource center, homelessness prevention projects and innovative accommodation services. Diana first took the royal and his brother the Duke of Sussex to the charity in 1993, when the pair were young boys, and William has gone on to make numerous public and private trips to the organization. In December 2009, a then 27-year-old Prince William spent a night sleeping rough to understand the plight of the homeless at Christmas. He arrived shortly before midnight and stayed out in temperatures as low as -4°C, 24°F, lying in a central London alleyway surrounded by wheelie bins. The second in line to the throne was accompanied by his right-hand man at St James's Palace, former SAS officer Jamie Lowther Pinkerton, one of the Scotland Yard police protection officers who accompany him everywhere, and Seyi Obakin, chief executive of Centrepoint. Dressed in jeans, trainers, a hooded sweatshirt and beanie hat, he went unrecognized as he laid a piece of cardboard down on the floor and climbed into his sleeping bag. It wasn't an altogether new experience for former Army officer William, who has often lived rough on exercises. But it certainly wasn't a pleasant one, as temperatures plunged, making sleep almost impossible. After sleeping fitfully, William rolled up his sleeping bag at 6 a.m. and walked through the streets for 45 minutes, stopping to talk to several homeless people on the way. He went to Centrepoint's hostel in Greek Street, Soho, where he showered before cooking breakfast for some of the residents and cutting a cake to celebrate the charity's 40th anniversary. He was slightly better off than the average rough sleeper, as he was accompanied by his armed personal protection officer, his private secretary, a former SAS officer, and the chief executive of the homelessness charity. Even the venue, a secluded spot close to Blackfriars Bridge in the city, was carefully chosen for safety. The Duke said afterwards that the experience had helped to deepen his understanding of life on the streets. In a statement released at the time, he said, "I cannot, after one night, even begin to imagine what it must be like to sleep rough on London streets night after night." Centrepoint's work, along with many other organizations, in tackling these fundamental causes is desperately important if we are ever to end homelessness in this country. I hope that by deepening my understanding of the issue, I can help do my bit to help the most vulnerable on our streets. Meanwhile, Mr. Obakin told the Mail. William asked whether there was anything he could do to help understand what our young people go through. I thought on my feet and came up with the thing that I thought he was least likely to do. To my surprise, he said yes. We took as much precaution as possible, finding a relatively secluded spot in an alleyway, shielded partly by a collection of wheelie bins. But there was no shielding from the bitter cold, or the hard concrete floor, or the fear of being accosted by drug dealers, pimps or those out to give homeless people a kicking. I have never been happier to welcome the break of dawn. While the royals often take camera on their charity trips and are patrons of many organizations, senior members of the firm have been discovered to undertake secret visits to charity in the past. Both Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle have both made private visits to text crisis helpline Shout, which was set up by their husbands. In 2019, Nancy Lublin, the founder of Crisis Text Line in the U.S., who sits on the board of the UK charity, told Town Country that the duchesses have been 4 times to the offices, without anyone knowing. From early on in her royal career, Kate has been praised for secretly visiting the homeless and sick, following in the footsteps of the late Princess of Wales. Harry and Meghan also gave out food packages in LA during lockdown, while Duchess of York, Princess Eugenie and Sophie Wessex were all spotted doing the same in the UK. Princess Eugenie and her husband Jack Brooksbank were spotted being driven through London by Sarah, Duchess of York in March 2020 to make a secret mercy dash to deliver supplies to frontline NHS staff. The care packages, containing essentials such as food, toiletries and cleaning products, were delivered to Hammersmith Hospital in West London, the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital and Upton Hospital in Slough. Mr. Gardner's LinkedIn post has been shared widely online, and many social media users have expressed their admiration for William, calling him amazing for his efforts. Absolutely love the fact he is out doing this. What a wonderful gesture. What a king he will be one day, wrote one person on LinkedIn. Inspirational. What fantastic role models for the next generation too, penned another, while a third wrote, how many other members of the royal family would do that? What a fantastic example. And very quick-witted to get the card machine out. True integrity. Doing the right thing when nobody is watching, said one person, while another individual simply wrote, brilliant. Prince William's private charity work comes nearly a week after his wife, Kate, made a secret visit to Evelina London Children's Hospital to surprise staff, patients and their families unable to join in the Jubilee celebrations this weekend. Kate, 40, has been patron of the London Hospital, which specialises in providing life-changing treatment for children with rare and complex conditions, since 2018. She has been snapped visiting on multiple occasions since then, visiting patients and staff, and raising the profile of the hospital. Sunday's visit was particularly low-key. The Duchess, who just hours earlier had joined senior royals at the Queen's service of Thanksgiving at St. Paul's Cathedral, spent time speaking to the young patients and their loved ones during the unexpected appearance. News of Kate's visit to the Children's Hospital was announced on the Evelina London Twitter account. The post read, "We received a very special surprise last night. Our patron, HRH the Duchess of Cambridge, dropped in for a private visit to meet our patients, families and staff unable to join in the celebrations this weekend. Luckily, the hospital was already decked with Platinum Jubilee decorations made by some of the children and young people we are caring for. Thank you YRH, Your Royal Highness, for thinking of us." The post was shared alongside 2 photographs of the Duchess of Cambridge meeting one family by a child's bedside. Prince William and his wife Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, and their 3 children, which also includes Prince Louis, 4, spent the weekend celebrating the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.